In Raleigh, North Carolina. I'm going to show you two rigs today in the same video, and the reason for that is they were both ordered by two retired police officers who used to serve down in Miami Opelika, South Florida, now live in Central Florida, very near each other, and are lifelong friends. So I've got both their rigs here so that when I ship them out, they'll go out at the same time, and that way they'll both get them more or less at the same time. I didn't want to finish one, send one, and not have the other gentleman get his later. So here they are. This is rig number one, and I want to go over a couple of points about it because this is what I call a cowboy rig, or used to call a cowboy rig when it was lined with suede. So now I have broken it up for extra charges for Ranger overlap belts, which is what this one is, and having it lined with suede. So if you have an Eastwood style belt billet, just a tapered one, not this overlapping style, it's going to cost you less. I charge $25 more for this, $25 more for suede. And the buckles, that's however you want it. Ranger Star Concho or standard holster strap are the same. So a couple of different things. Now I'm putting on 18 bullet loops at no charge. Credit for less, $1 a piece credit for less than the 18, or $1 more for more than 18. So this one's got 24 on it. So at the time that I rated or priced these rigs, it was just the overall, and now I'm not going to do that anymore. So here are the 18 bullet loops. Not 20. If I said 24, I was wrong. This one has 18 and the other one has 18 too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 45 caliber bullet loops. This is for a 5.5 inch new model Vaquero, but it's got my 4 5/8 U-Birdie Peacemaker clone in it. And you can see that it is a 5.5 inch holster. Here are his initials, GS. They are on both the belt and on the back of the holster. Flip that over, and there they are. Okay. Same snap open holster strap, so you can open up your holster. In the case of an over the belt, you're just going to be sliding it on and off. And the other one is a drop loop. Now, Glenn wanted, that was his first name, he wanted a badge holder, and there it is. And George didn't seem to want one way or the other, but I made him one, so you'll see that in a minute. And I'm just sending it along so they both have a badge holder. Okay. So this is that medium brown with a little bit of red dye in it, which gives it this walnutty cinnamon type of a color, if that's what you'd like to call it. And this is a clip cornered, very standard, common, you see them all the time in Hollywood B Westerns, belt buckle. This is nickel plated over brass. A very solid buckle. Fast draw cut down. Okay. Hammer thong. Leg tie, and this is grain lined, no suede, so it's dyed. The whole rig is covered with Kiwi neutral wax shoe polish. When you get a rig, if you see any kind of a cream colored material caught up in a sewing line, or in general any kind of whitish haze, just polish it out with a terry cloth, washcloth, a dry one, and it'll buff right out. You can also run a hair dryer over it too to warm it up and melt it in, which is what I do. So I have melted in a lot of wax into the sewing lines on these rigs. So here it is. That's rig number 1. So I'm going to take out the gun. Okay, and you'll also notice that this one will cock inside the holster and it'll fall out of the holster just like that, because they've been sitting here for a while with guns in them with zero retention. So I can't let it go because it'll just fall into my hand. Alright, so there's the gun. Let me get the other gun belt. Okay. Now, just because he wanted it that way, he has a 7.5 inch new model Vaquero, and this is basically, essentially, very much like Matt Dillon's holster from Gunsmoke. Now, just to show you the look of it, I'm going to run this belt down so I can highlight the holster. Here we go. This one has the same cut from Andy Anderson coming out of the Arvo Ojala shop. And if you don't know Arvo Ojala, the man who ran the place and had Andy Anderson working for him in Hollywood, Andy Anderson came up with this design, as far as I know. Anybody knows differently, you can send me an email and correct me. But this is the same cut as the Paladin holster. Here is this coming in this way and cutting around and coming up behind where the trigger guard hits the holster. And the only difference between this Paladin holster or the Gunsmoke holster is that I put a fast draw cut in it right in the front. The actual Matt Dillon holster comes straight around and connects right here. Okay, and there is no fast draw cut. Okay, so this gives it a slightly different look that way, but looking at it from the side, it looks very much like it. Okay. And one thing I did with this holster, or this whole gun belt actually, to differentiate it from the other one, and these two guys can talk about it when they get their rigs, is that I sewed this one with black thread. It gives it a slightly different look, a little bit more contrast, and I did it partly to give this gentleman something to talk about and also to show you. In other words, if you want me to sew your rig, your brown rig with black thread, it will give it a different look. So there it is right there. You can see it. You can see the greater contrast of the sewing with the black thread. Okay, he has his 18 bullet loops, and there they are. Okay, and this is the back of it. There are his initials, GH again, with my stamp, and I'm putting American flags on everything I make these days, and we'll continue to do so. Here's your perfect fit. Okay, right there. And these holsters, these gun belts, are right around a little more than 3/16 of an inch thick. More like almost a quarter, depends. But this is 5-ounce leather, and you will look good wearing one of these. One more thing. This gentleman got interested in having a roller buckle from one of the previous videos that I made, and here it is. If I can get this thing out of the way. There's the roller buckle. Both buckles are smooth in through here, but roller buckles are a little more rounded, and of course you've got this roller which will help you cinch up the gun belt a little easier, and these buckles won't tear up the belt billet quite as much as the other ones will, although they still are rounded on the inside. It's not like there's a right angle edge on there. So there's the belt billet. And there's his badge holder. So, same thing. Okay. gun will just fall out right like that. There, just can't keep it in there. Okay, it comes flying out. And one more important thing about rawhide or not having rawhide in between your layers of leather. I'm going to make a video as soon as I complete them, because I've changed the way in which I'm making Cowboy Fast Draw Action holsters now. So this one has no rawhide in it whatsoever, and yet it is clacky. Here's the remote for this TV, and you can hear it. Very, very clacky. Okay, I'll even do it with metal. Let me bring out my knife. Spyderco Delica. There you go. These are non-collapsing holsters. Okay, they have been immersed in water once, real well, and then also in dye. Actually, twice, and then dye for the third time. So the lanolin has come out of this veg tanned leather, and now you've got good clacky leather. And see, these are very stiff in through here. All the edges are burnished. Okay, so it's tough. Keep polishing, putting on more wax. You know, this you could use brown if you want, but if you use the neutral, you won't change any of the color. And this leather was exceptionally grainy. Looks great. Okay, I had to melt the wax in with a hairdryer. And you keep polishing it up, keep putting more on as time goes by, and your gun belt holster rig will not dry rot on you if you keep the moisture on it. You can see the leather grain as they bounce the light off of it. Okay. See, the badge holder was made out of a smoother piece of leather. Doesn't have that same grainy look. And let me bring it around again and show you this side over here. Okay. This is one good looking gun belt. Okay. So let's put a gun back in it. Right here like this. Put this hammer thong on here like this. Okay. Curl this one over here. Okay, like that. Okay, let's bring up the other one. And we have one done. So there they are. Both gun belts going out today in today's mail from Bob's Leather Works in Raleigh, North Carolina. Get them over here a little bit more. These never sit up straight. Okay. There we go. Alright, so if you want to order a gun belt, you got any questions, give me a call, send me an email, but calling me is better. That way I get your questions answered right on time when you're thinking about them and want to ask me. Alright, so thanks for watching. Look at the end titles and you'll find out how to order a rig. Bye bye now from North Carolina.